Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video with Brooklyn. How are you all doing this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday? So anyway, let's just jump right on into the video. Excuse the lighting because it's very cloudy outside, so I will be going in and out with the lighting, okay? So I want to talk about Piedmont, California. There's a school there that offered their white students emotional support due to the outcome of Derrick Chauvin's verdict, being guilty, okay? I say Derrick Chauvin, but on TV they are saying Chauvin. But we're going to call him DC for the purpose of this video. They're saying that they offered the white students emotional support because of the verdict that he was guilty. And the students were having a hard time dealing with him being guilty, and they wanted to give them emotional support so they can talk about how they felt. The school is made up of 72 of the white population, 72% white population, and I know it's Asians with so much populations, and then it was 3% black population, okay? And the children of color pushed back against it. They all got the email. Well, the white students got the email. I don't know if everybody in the school got the email, but the black children evidently knew about the email, and they started talking about it and pushing back against it, saying how they felt disrespected, how they felt like their feelings didn't matter, because this trial affected everyone. Somebody somewhere was on someone's side, you know? Everybody black was not on George Floyd's side, and everybody white was not on DC's side, you know? So it affected everybody. And for them to come out and offer support to the white students was very disrespectful and very racist. And that's what the children of color, the students of color said. It's very disrespectful and very racist and very discriminating. Because when George Floyd got shot, they were not offered any emotional support. Students of color was not offered any emotional support. Did they know George Floyd personally? No. And these students do not know DC, Derrick Chauvin, personally. So for the school to turn around and offer white students emotional support was very, 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 very degrading and very disrespectful. It was, because the school is letting the world know that we were hoping that he got off. That's what they were saying. So the students put up an argument, they pushed back, and then the school rescinded it. They rescinded their offer, and they said that all students were able to get emotional support, and they should all be offered the same offer, and that it was in poor taste. It was in poor taste. You did not think it was in poor taste. You just did not think that you would get a lot of coverage and a lot of negative publicity. You thought it would go over smoothly. You did not think it was in poor taste, because if you thought it was in poor taste, you would not have sent the email out like that to everyone. They even had teachers, and this is making me look extra dark, y'all, because it is light outside. They even had teachers on standby to be able to offer this grief counseling. That's what it was, grief counseling, okay? And it's just plain outright ridiculous that you have people in the educational field that's taking sides with, you know, how can I say it? I'm going to say people that's not in the educational field, that's out here doing wrong. You have to remember, you are teaching our future students. You are teaching them what they are supposed to be doing when they get out into the world, you know? And they learn from school. They learn what their teachers teach them. They learn what their families and their parents teach them. And when you have teachers sending out those kind of messages, it enforces negative behavior. I'm not saying that students should not be offered grief counseling, but how dare you offer them grief counseling for a police officer who shot down not shot down, but strangled. I'm so used to black men getting shot, that strangled someone with their knee. How dare you? How dare you? But you're not offering grief counseling for people who felt bad for George Floyd, Or for people in your school that grandmother died, or grandfather died, or mother died, an immediate family member. For a man who could care less. And that's not the first time he did it, you know? And it was pushed back against, like I said, and they retracted the statement. They took the offer off the table, and they said that all students should be treated fairly, you know, and that it was a mistake, basically. But a mistake is doing something that you don't know. You know, you make an error and you really don't know. You don't know that you're getting ready to step on someone's foot by accident. That's a mistake. Or 2 + 2 you put is 5. That's a mistake. Or you spell somebody's name wrong. That's a mistake. A mistake is doing something unwillingly and unknowingly. When you deliberately do something, just because you say you're sorry, that was not a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. You did it deliberately. Mistakes are not done deliberately. That's like someone coming to you and slapping you in the face and realize you were the wrong person, mistaken identity, and they say, oh, I made a mistake. No, you deliberately slapped me. You may have made a mistake with who you were slapping, the person, but you deliberately slapped my face. I was just the wrong person. But you meant to slap somebody. It was a deliberate act. You just had the wrong face. So they deliberately sent that email out, and they deliberately wanted to segregate, because that was segregation, and it was making, it would have caused, which I'm sure it did cause, racial tension amongst children of color, because there, like I said, there's Asians in the school, there's blacks in the school. They said there were Hispanics in the school, and they're all at a lower percentage as being present in the school from the white children. The white children are 72%. They make up 72% of that whole in that school. So that's a lot, you know. So that they were at an advantage, you know, and the population is made up of mostly white students. So that could have started a race war in the school, and I'm sure it has caused tension, because now that it's been taken off the table, I'm sure you're having people feeling some type of way about that, and feeling as though they've been slighted now, you know, that they're being taken, their rights are being taken from them, you know. Then you have some students in the school who may be good friends with the black children, and the black children are good friends with the white children, boyfriends and girlfriends, you know, interracial relationships in the school. That could have caused and stirred up a lot of animosity. You know, the school is not supposed to be getting involved in things like that. You're supposed to keep those personal feelings to yourself. And when whoever wrote the email, I can't remember the name, that was their personal feelings. They were grief-stricken. The students probably didn't have no feeling about it whatsoever. They're teenagers. But the person who wrote the email, they were grief-stricken. That's why they struck up this email to have the students have, you know, grief counseling, because they were stricken with grief, because they did not like the outcome, and they tried to put the students in it too, you know. And I think that they should be reprimanded, and I think that they should be maybe some kind of repercussions behind it, because you being an adult, you should not be entering into, I'm going to say, politics with this situation, because even in school, you are not supposed to push religion. If you believe in Jesus Christ, you're not supposed to push Jesus Christ. If you are a Muslim, you are not supposed to push Muslims. If you're a Jew, you're not supposed to push Jewish religion. They do not want you influencing students with your beliefs. And when this email went out, that's exactly what was being done. That's exactly what was being done. Immediately after the verdict was read, the email went out immediately. So they did not have time to discuss it with students to see how they felt, if they needed this. They did not get any feedback from students. They took it upon themselves. The article said immediately after the verdict was read. Immediately. Which means that they did not discuss this with any students. They deliberately did it. So it was not a mistake. Was it in poor taste, as the article says? Yes, it was in poor taste. But it was not a mistake. They deliberately tried to cause separation. They deliberately tried to have break unity, you know, and cause division. That's what the email was going to do. And it did, because the children started fighting back against it, started pushing against it. They felt like they were being discounted, you know, and rightfully so. Because when George Floyd was killed, they didn't offer them any help and no grief counseling. I'm sure that affected a lot of the black students when he was killed, but they wasn't offered anything. But when this man goes to jail, rightfully so, you're going to offer the whole population, 72% of the school, you're going to offer them grief counseling. And let me make this clear. Okay, evidently George Floyd's life to them did not matter. But when you hear someone yell, Black Lives Matter, and you come back and you say, all lives matter, nobody's saying all lives don't matter. They're saying Black Lives Matter. Get the understanding. Black Lives Matter because people act as though Black lives don't matter. They're not saying all lives don't matter. They're just saying Black lives matter too. What about us? That's what black people are saying. What about us? We matter. Y'all acting like we don't exist. You're acting like we don't count. That's what it's saying. It's not saying we're the only ones that matter and no one else matters. That's an ignorant thought to have. That's not what anyone's saying. Obviously, we're not the only race on earth. So you can't say that we're the only ones that matter. Although some people do feel like they're the only ones that matter. That's not what Black Lives Matter is saying. They're saying we matter too. What about us? Don't discount us. Don't forget us. Don't ignore us. Don't walk over us. Acknowledge us. That's what it's saying. That's what it means. Okay? And George Floyd's life mattered. And if it had been vice versa, and George Floyd would have put his knee on DC's neck, DC's life mattered. And George Floyd should have went to jail if it was switched around and he committed the crime. All humans matter. No one is above anyone else. And for them to offer grief counseling was absolutely ridiculous. Now, what they could have did was say, we're going to offer grief counseling to anyone who wants to come talk about DC, Derrick Chauvin, or we're going to offer grief counseling to anyone who want to talk about what's going on with George Floyd. They could have pulled it off that way, but no, they did not. They went straight after the man got his verdict read and said, we're offering grief counseling to all white students. This is the email. All white students who want to talk about how this verdict has made them feel. Grief counseling. Like someone, their daddy died. And whoever wrote the email, they act like they knew him personally, like it was their child or something, or their spouse. It's just ridiculous. This is crazy, you know? So anyway, you know, be careful. Be careful what you all do. You know, be careful how you talk to people and what you send out, you know, via email, via social media. Be careful, because you have to remember that other people are out here watching you, and you don't want to offend people, and you don't want to cause them to feel some type of way when you've been coming off like you were one way, but then you coming off another way. It's going to show you that you're a hypocrite. It's going to show people, it's going to show the world that you are really a hypocrite, because at the end of the day, people's true colors come out. Their true feelings come out. This same person that wrote the email, these students probably trusted this teacher. They probably trusted this person and did not realize that they had some racial issues going on. And now it's out. I would never trust this particular person again if I was a student there. I would never. And if a person of color had sent that email out, they would have gotten fired. I'm going to say that to you right now. They would have gotten fired for sending that email out. They would have. And I want to say it was the vice principal or somebody. Somebody at the top sent that email out. But they would have lost their job if they had been a person of color. I'm going to tell you that right now. They would not be working today. Bring all that negative publicity to the school. and separating students and causing just trouble and bringing on trouble to a school, oh, we would have lost our job. You can't even blow a bubble loud with your bubble gun without getting cited. You can't even hang air freshener from your window without getting pulled, being a person of color. You can't even cough loud. Don't cross your eyeballs up at a stoplight. Don't let a police officer see, your eyes crossed. You can't see the sign. Pull over. Let me see your driver's license, your registration number, your registration card. You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. I saw one video where a black man was walking around his yard. He had a beautiful house. Walking around his yard, the yard man had just left from mowing. A white man mowed his lawn. He was walking around just checking the yard to make sure the man did the job right. The police was driving through the neighborhood, seen him, stopped, asked him for his ID because he didn't know who he was and if he lived there or not. The man was in his own yard. The cop pulled over. I want to see your ID. What are you doing walking around this yard all in the backyard? He said, it's my house. Well, I want to see your ID. I don't know if you live there or not. Then the man's wife comes out. What are you doing? This is my husband. We live here. I don't know who he is. I want to see his ID. Then he kept demanding for the ID because he was embarrassed by that time because the woman came out and said, this is my husband. We live here. I just still need to see his ID because I don't know who he is. And the man was like, you don't need to know who I am. This is my home. I live here. I'm checking my yard work. You just seen the man leave. You was watching the man just left from mowing. I came out the front door. Well, I don't know who you are, sir. I don't know if you live here or not. Beautiful home, and that's why he didn't think the man lived there, because the house was too pretty for a black person to own. Because we're supposed to live under a bridge or in a cardboard box somewhere. We can't have nice things. We can't have jewelry. We can't have nice cars and stuff. You have to be up there with Beyonce and them to have that, but an average Joe can't have it. You know? And it's just ridiculous. And he did not give him his ID, and I would not have either, but it could have turned bad. The cop started calling for backup, and another cop came and was like, can we see your ID? He was like, no, I'm at home. I'm in my yard. Y'all came to my house. Well, we just want to see your ID. His wife was like, he lives here. So that's what's going on, you know? So anyway, you all be careful out there. Be safe. Remember to try to love everyone and follow peace with everyone if you can, if at all possible. If not, just shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to say vielen Dank. That's thank you very much in German. So vielen Dank for watching me. And choose, that's what? That's bye in German.